Yes, around midday today, one of our assistant managers on his normal tour of the zoo around the enclosure where we have the lions noticed that someone has entered the enclosure, male, and then he was being held by the neck by one of the lions, the male lion. He quickly informed his superiors, and the case was reported to the Achimota police. A team from the Achimota police was dispatched to the zoo, and they have been here for a while. Have taken pictures and then all the information required, and then the body has been it's been conveyed to the morgue. It was realized that the person is dead, but I wish to confirm that all the lions, the male lion, the female, and the two cubs, are here in good condition at the Accra Zoo.
And since I came, I've not seen any animal outside. Rather, they are all in the inner fence, inner perimeter. You can see behind me, that's the male one. And the lioness and her cubs, the two cubs, are also there. But then if you look up here, you see that that place has been tampered with. That's where the person scaled and went in. The advice is that these lions are in their cages. They are in their fence. They are just resting. Why would somebody come and try to enter, scale the fence and go inside to do what? If you are going for the cubs, the lioness and the male will protect their cubs. So please, there is a warning to people who have other intentions and ulterior motives. Please, this is a no-go area. They should keep off these premises.
Well, the police have meanwhile commenced investigation into the circumstances surrounding the death of a man who was allegedly attacked by one of the lions at the Accra Zoo. The victim, who is yet to be identified, was found dead in the lion enclosure of the zoo. After the necessary forensic examination of the scene, the body was removed and has been deposited at the police hospital morgue for preservation and autopsy. The police says it is working with the management of the zoo and the Forestry Commission to get to the bottom of the unfortunate incident. We'll keep an eye on that to bring you details in our subsequent bulletins. Away from that, former President John Dramani Mahama has criticized the Chief Justice, insisting that Justice Enini Abua cannot lead any process of change in legal hostilities and political bias at the Apex Court. Addressing the second annual Lawyers' Conference of the opposition NDC at Ada in the Greater Accra region, he argued that the notion that the General Legal Counsel exists to intimidate lawyers who are critics of government is worrying.
For the second time, lawyers belonging to the opposition National Democratic Congress have been meeting to take stock and see how best they will be able to use the profession that they have been trained for to help the party in the challenges that the party has had in the past years, and also for the growth of the party. The General Secretary of the opposition National Democratic Congress, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, has been spitting some fire regarding some level of intimidation against lawyers that belong to the NDC fraternity.
We are aware of the intimidation you suffer in your profession. The leaders of your profession and the judiciary, I'm told that if you appear before certain judges, they prejudge your case because you are not with a certain group. And so all this, if your lawyer and judges become biased against you, it represents a huge cost to your reputation and many other ways. That without saying much, we have an obligation to ensure that some positive discrimination is applied when we come to power in order to bring everybody at par, and then beyond that, we can begin to be fair to everybody.
For the head of the NDC's legal team, Abraham Amaliba, the Ghana Bar Association's shade that it throws towards members of the NDC who are lawyers, for them, they will stand never to be intimidated.
We are committed to both our profession and to our parties. What we shall not take is to turn the NDC lawyers into slaves of the Ghana Bar Association. We shall resist every attempt by the Ghana Bar Association to turn the NDC lawyers as second fiddle lawyers in this country.
Former President John Dramani Mahama has again reiterated calls for a certain reform in the judiciary, however stating the current leadership of the Judicial Service or the Chief Justice is not in the position to lead those reforms.
The phrase, go to court, is these days met with derisive laughter instead of hope that one will truly get justice if he went to the courts. If people are not poking fun about politics and inducements being used to sway the hand of justice in the lower courts, then it is poking fun and making statements about the 7-0 of the unanimous FC. One of the scariest existential threats to any democracy is when citizens think their judiciary holds no value for them or no use to them. And this is the security threat that the national security apparatus tried to draw the attention of the nation to recently, but was poorly received by the president and his party. There is therefore the urgent need for the Ghanaian judiciary to work to win the trust and confidence of the citizenry and erase the widely held perception of hostility and political bias in legal proceedings at the highest courts of the land. Unfortunately, we have no hope that the current leadership of our judiciary can lead such a process of change. We can only hope that a new Chief Justice will lead a process to repair the broken image that our judiciary has acquired over the last few years.
He again stresses that the next NDC administration would make free and fair and accessible legal education for all who are interested in.
It is therefore worrying that there remains deep-seated perceptions that institutions like the General Legal Council exist to intimidate lawyers who are critics of this government and deprive qualified students from studying for professional law certificates. How do you raise confident, independent, and creative lawyers with a focus on problem solving when during their training you tie their hands behind their back and suggest that they learn to accept oppressive rules without contest?
While still on the NDC, it is demanding the withdrawal of all soldiers from Crobo land in the wake of an impasse between residents and the Electricity Company of Ghana over installation of prepaid meters. NDC National Chairman Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, who led leadership of the party to visit the area, said government has failed to properly handle the situation.
The visit comes in the wake of a recent standoff between indigenes of Yellow Crobo and Lower Manya Crobo and the Electricity Company of Ghana, resulting in weeks of power outage in the areas. The recent crisis brought economic activities in the Crobo area to a halt and hospitals threatened to shut down. Schools, businesses and households all bore the brunt of the newly 1 month freeze on electricity supply. Power was restored to the area on August 21 after nearly 3 weeks. However, residents of Nuasu Old Town on Monday, August 22, again clashed with military personnel when Electricity Company of Ghana workers went to the area to install prepaid meters as part of agreement reached between National Security and the two municipal assemblies and the ECG. The main opposition National Democratic Congress (NDC) condemned the seeming high-handed approach by government to resolving the impasse. National Chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Ofosu Ampofo, said the party sympathizes with the residents.
As a responsible opposition, find out exactly what is happening with regard to the impact between the people within the Yilo and Manya traditional areas. We still believe that in all these instances, it is better to charge off than to war. But we have come here because all the three constituencies in the Crobo area, they vote for the MPs. Majority of the people here support the MPs. So their plight and their predicament should be our concern.
He further called for the withdrawal of all soldiers from the two communities.
Now, General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, Singh has criticized former Finance and Economic Planning Minister Dr. Crobo for a donation in the name of the Ahunto project. He argued that any donation done in the name of the project should not be personal, but a contribution towards the cause of the party.
Been compelled to address the press on this Ahunto project because I believe we had come far such that we shouldn't be addressing each other through the media. But I'm compelled in the interest of the party to put these things out. We just picked information from Kumasi that Dr. Dufour is going to distribute some equipment to our constituencies under the Ahunto project. And we feel very betrayed because, you see, it is not a bad thing if a former minister wants to support the party in any way. But there is a process that you go through. So we actually heard about this project for the first time when it was supposed to have been launched in Ashaman. So we felt that everything about the launching and the design of the project was problematic. So we invited Dr. Dufour and his followers. And we sat down because we thought that we could resolve whatever was wrong with the project as it has been designed. So we all chart the same path and then make sure that we receive the donation and process the donation through our proper party channels of receiving donations. So we held series of meetings and, thought that we had agreed on the procedure. And our procedure is that if you want to donate to NDC, after donating, you don't have a hand in how the donation will be used. In fact, he's not the first person to donate to this party. In previous years, Professor Mills donated vehicles to the party, and they were processed through the party structures. President Mahama has donated vehicles and other equipment to the party. Once you hand over to the party takes over. The information we are picking now is that we have been written to that there's going to be an NGO which is going to manage the Ahunto project. And we strongly object to that thing. And we feel that we have been misled into launching, receiving the donation and thought that and assured our party that it is the party that is going to handle it. If Dr. Dufour intends to make this donation to the party a genuine donation, he should be prepared to pass through the proper channels.
Without the channels,
otherwise,
will you go ahead and issue a fiat that he stops it?
Well, he has his equipment. Whatever he's doing with his equipment, it cannot happen in the name.
Now, Ranking Member of Parliament's Committee on Communications, Alhaji Bashiru Fuseni, says the late introduction of the self-mobile app for SIM registration is problematic. According to him, the delayed app still does not resolve the issue of using a sole document to register SIM cards. Now, we know that National Communications Authority has belatedly released a SIM card registration self-service mobile application. The app is to help subscribers who have completed the first stage of the exercise to do so from the comfort of their homes.
if you make the Ghana card and we are linking it now even to the app still doesn't take away the issue of the Ghana card. Because from what we are hearing, if you go through the app and others, you will still need to align it with your Ghana card. So notwithstanding that, if you still don't have access to the Ghana card, how are you going to do it? Either you take away the exclusive life on the Ghana card and make other forms of identification available, or you make the Ghana card readily accessible to Ghanaians. Even the app, it's about 3 weeks late. So that tells you that even it was intended to deal with the mood of issues so that deadline would not catch so many people. We have already made it the day. And so that in itself even makes the case for extension. But I'm saying that if you extend the exercise and we don't deal with the underlying problem, the fundamental problem, Ghanaians don't have ready access to the Ghana card because the National Identification Authority itself has disclosed a myriad of problems that is militating against its ability to make the card easily available to many Ghanaians.
We head to the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology now, where a new week is starting about council decided on a series of measures after recent clashes between students of the University Hall, Katanga and Unity Hall, Konti, during a procession by some members of Katanga. The clash ensued when students of the Unity Hall refused to allow students of the University Hall to use a route in front of their hall for a procession. The Council of KNUST met to deliberate on the incident and, among others, has decided that with effect from the 2023-2024 academic year, the Junior Common Room system of home management by student is abolished. By this, there would be no student elections for hall executives. The Council condemned the recent disturbances and supported the ongoing investigation by the Ghana Police Service and the university authorities. The assistant governance structure comprising hall councils, hall masters and senior tutors would continue to operate in the management of the affairs of the halls. A statement from the university also warned that any student who participates in the organization of morale and or procession shall be dismissed. Let's now bring you some international news where Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida told the Tokyo International Conference on African Development in Tunis that Tokyo will push for an African seat at the United Nations by using its place on the world's Body Security Council. Now, Fumio Kishida noted Tokyo reiterates its determination to redress the historical injustice against Africa of not being represented through a permanent membership of the Security Council. In June, Japan was one of the 5 countries elected to hold a non-permanent seat on the UNSC for the years 2023 and 2024. The UNSC is made up of 15 members, 5 of whom are permanent and have veto-wielding power: the United States, Russia, China, France, and the United Kingdom. The other 10 positions are filled by countries for 2-year stints, 5 of which are announced each year. The Japanese leader also promised aid to train police officers and support fair and transparent elections across the continent, pledging Japan's support for the rule of law in Africa. That's all for the news on New Day. There's more news on our website, TV3News.com. Please log on for more. My name is Noble Crosby, and New Day returns after the break. Stay with us, don't go away.